Alex Carter stepped onto the deck of the small research vessel just before sunrise. The sky was soft and pale, and the ocean below looked endless and calm. Even with the quiet morning around him, he felt a tight knot in his chest. He had been on many deep dives before, but something about this mission felt different. The command team had given only a short explanation. Unusual energy readings were coming from a trench that had never been mapped. They needed someone brave enough to go down and see what was there. Alex had agreed without hesitation, though he now wondered if he should have asked more questions. The surface team moved steadily around him, checking cables, sensors, and equipment. The air smelled like salt and cold metal. Alex stood beside his dive suit, a tall exosuit with thick plates and clear armor shields. The suit was old but reliable. It had protected him in dives far deeper than most humans dared to go. But today's trench was new territory. Even the most advanced scanning systems could not see through its lower layers. Nora Blake, his closest colleague and friend, approached him with a worried look. She held a tablet filled with data streams and diagrams. "The readings are still strange," she said quietly. "It doesn't match anything natural. Not volcanic, not tectonic, not biological. It feels manufactured." Alex tried to smile in a calm way. "Everything in the ocean feels strange until we figure it out." Nora did not smile back. "Just be careful. Something is down there." He nodded and adjusted one of the suit's arm seals. He appreciated her concern more than he could say. Nora always noticed things others missed, and she trusted her instincts. Alex had learned to trust them too. The crew helped him step into the suit. The inside was cold at first, but it warmed around him as the internal systems activated. Lights blinked across his vision inside the helmet. The heads-up display began running its checks. Oxygen stable, power stable, pressure resistance normal. The commander's voice crackled through the comms. "Alex, once you reach 5,000 meters, we will lose standard communication. The relay drone will keep connection for as long as possible, but expect signal breaks." Alex answered, "Understood." He had dealt with worse. Deep-sea silence was familiar to him. The dive platform lowered him slowly toward the water. He watched the sky shrink above him as the metal arm carried him over the edge. The moment he touched the water surface, the suit sensors shifted. The sound of the ocean filled his ears, soft currents, distant clicks, the quiet hum of life far below. As he sank deeper, the sunlight faded. The water changed from blue to dark blue, then to black. His suit lights clicked on, cutting through the darkness with two narrow beams. He checked his depth meter. 1,000 meters, then 2,000, then 3. He felt calm in the deep. It was familiar, almost comforting. Many divers feared the pressure, the emptiness, the feeling of being alone. But Alex found a peaceful rhythm in it. Here, in the quiet dark, he could think clearly. When he reached 4,000 meters, the first strange signal appeared. His sensors caught a pulse of energy, sharp, clean, and impossible to misunderstand. It came from below, steady like a heartbeat. Alex frowned as he watched the readings. It was not natural. Nothing in the deep made signals like that. He followed the source, letting the suit guide him down the sloping wall of the trench. The rock around him looked different than any formation he had seen before. Deep lines ran through the stone, glowing faintly as if touched by some hidden force. 5,000 meters. Communication began to crackle. He could hear Nora's voice, but it broke apart every few seconds. "Alex, reading energy spike." He tried to respond, but his words echoed back at him with static. He sighed. He had expected this. From here on, he was on his own. At 6,000 meters, he stopped suddenly. The trench opened into a wide cavern, an enormous hollow far beneath the ocean floor. His lights could not reach the end of it. The darkness felt alive, shifting with unseen movement. Then he heard it. A sound carried through the water, long, low, and filled with something he could not explain. It was not a whale. It was not any creature he knew. It sounded like a cry, deep and heavy, almost like someone in pain. Alex froze. The sound echoed again, this time sharper, filled with sorrow. He felt it in his chest, like the cry had reached inside him. He turned his lights slowly toward the far side of the cavern. Something huge moved. A shape, larger than any submarine, shifted within the shadows. His heart beat faster. He did not know if it was dangerous, but he could not look away. Another cry rose from the dark, trembling through the water. Alex steadied his breath. He was not alone down here, and whatever lived in the abyss, it was weeping. Alex held still as the strange cry faded into the darkness. The sound had shaken him more than he wanted to admit. He had heard many underwater calls in his life, but nothing like this. This cry felt almost human in its sadness, yet far deeper, older, and filled with a kind of pain he could not understand. He kept his lights focused forward, trying to see the shape that had moved. All he could make out was a large outline shifting slowly, like something huge breathing in the dark. The cavern air, if it could be called air, felt thick around him, and the silence after the cry seemed even heavier. He checked his suit readings again. The energy pulses were rising, repeating at steady intervals. They came from somewhere deeper inside the cavern. Whatever creature was down here, it was connected to those pulses. Alex moved forward carefully. His suit's thrusters hummed softly as he floated through the cavern entrance. Loose rocks littered the ground, covered with strange markings that glowed faintly. He had never seen anything like them. They looked as though they had been carved with intention. Lines, swirls, shapes that resembled symbols. "This place isn't natural," he whispered to himself. As he moved further in, the darkness around him shifted. Something scraped against the stone far away. Alex stiffened, turning sharply. Nothing in his lights, just the empty black. The cry echoed again. This time it was closer. Alex swallowed hard. The sound seemed to vibrate through his bones. It wasn't angry. It wasn't a call to attack. It felt like despair. He floated forward, letting his lights sweep slowly across the cavern. Finally, the beam caught something. An enormous wall of crystal structures growing out from the rock. They were smooth and clear, reflecting the light like glass. But beneath the surface of the crystal, he saw metal meshes and ancient circuitry. Then he saw chains. Thick, shimmering restraints made of crystal and energy wrapped around something large, something alive. The shape inside the chains was curled tightly, as if trying to make itself small. Alex's heart beat faster. It was a creature. He moved closer, the light rising slowly across a long, scaled body. Deep blue scales shimmered under the light, each one glowing faintly as if holding its own soft color. Wings, large, folded wings, pressed stiffly against the creature's sides. Long horns curved back from its head, and along its spine ran sharp crystal-like spines. Then he saw its eyes. They glowed like stars, silver and blue, bright even in the darkness. But what struck him most was the expression within them. Pain, exhaustion, loneliness. Alex felt his chest tighten as he understood the source of the cry. This creature, this being, was weeping. He steadied his breathing and spoke gently, though he was unsure if the creature could understand him. "I don't want to hurt you. I'm just here to understand what's happening." His voice echoed faintly through the cavern. The creature shifted slightly. The chains around its body glowed faintly in response, tightening with a soft pulse. The creature winced, the motion forcing out another low, anguished cry. Alex flinched at the sound. "You're trapped," he whispered. He floated closer, scanning the crystal restraints. The readings confirmed it. This was incredibly advanced alien technology. The energy patterns were unlike anything humans had created. The creature lifted its head weakly. Alex held still. Those glowing eyes watched him with confusion, fear, and something else, a faint flicker of hope. He activated his translation system, unsure if it would work. "Can you understand me?" he asked softly. There was a long pause. Then a faint, broken voice entered his comm system. It was gentle, melodic, and filled with pain. "Who are you?" Alex froze. The creature was speaking. "My name is Alex Carter," he said slowly. "I'm a human. I'm here by accident. I didn't know anyone was down here. The creature blinked weakly. Human. The word sounded strange from her voice, as if she had not spoken it in a very long time. Alex swallowed. What's your name? The creature hesitated. Her wings shifted slightly against the chains. Lyrathis. The name echoed softly. Lyrathis, Alex repeated gently. Who did this to you? Her eyes lowered. Ancients? Old ones? Hunters of my kind. Her voice trembled. I fled, but they caught me. They left me here, to die. The words cracked with sorrow. Alex felt anger rise in him, not toward her, but toward whoever had done this. How long have you been trapped? Lyrathis closed her eyes. I do not know. Time. It is different underwater. I slept. I woke. I cried. No one heard me. Until now. Alex breathed deeply. I heard you, and I'm here now. I promise I'm not going to leave you alone. For the first time, the creature's eyes softened. But before Alex could move closer, a sharp alert flashed across his display. Something was moving in the darkness. Fast. Alex spun around. His lights caught the outline of metallic shapes approaching from the far side of the cavern. Autonomous drones. Ancient ones. And they were coming straight toward him. Lyrathis let out a warning cry. Alex braced himself. The deep had more dangers than he expected. Alex reacted instantly, raising his suit lights to full power. The beams cut through the darkness, revealing 3 metallic drones speeding toward him. They were shaped like sharp, angular shells with glowing red eyes and spiral patterns carved along their surfaces. They looked old, worn by time, but they moved with deadly speed. Lyrathis strained against her chains, the light from her scales brightening in panic. They return, she whispered. The Watchers. The ones who keep me bound. Alex steadied his breath. I won't let them hurt you. The drones spread out as they approached, forming a half-circle around him. Their red sensors locked onto Alex. He could hear the dull hum of their power systems through the water. One drone charged first. Alex twisted his suit sideways, activating his thrusters to dodge. The drone shot past him, missing by only a few inches. He felt the current from its movement push against his armor. Alex! Lyrathis cried as the second drone lunged. He lifted his arm, blocking the attack with the suit's reinforced forearm. The impact sent him drifting backward, but the suit held. Warnings flashed across his display, but nothing critical. He fired a pulse blast from his suit's emergency tool, an energy burst meant for clearing debris. The blast struck the drone, sending it crashing into a rock formation where it sparked and went still. The third drone circled him slowly, scanning him. Alex prepared for another attack. But the drone didn't strike. Instead, it turned its lens toward Lyrathis. Her eyes widened with fear. Alex's voice sharpened. No! The drone charged toward her. Alex fired his thrusters at full force, slamming into the drone mid-charge. The collision sent both of them tumbling. Alex's suit rattled with the impact, alarms blaring. He pushed off the drone and activated the pulse tool again. The blast hit the drone at close range. It shook violently, lights flickering, before sinking down in a cloud of dust. Silence returned to the cavern. Alex floated there, breathing hard, watching the final sparks fade from the damaged machines. His suit showed stress warnings, but it was still functional. He turned toward Lyrathis. She watched him with wide, shining eyes. You defended me, she said softly, her voice trembling. Even though you do not know me. Alex steadied himself and moved closer. You didn't deserve to be chained like this. Those things hurt you. I couldn't just stand by. Lyrathis lowered her head slightly, a gesture of deep gratitude in her culture. Though Alex did not know that yet. You have courage, human, and kindness. This is rare. She closed her eyes briefly, then opened them again with more strength. But you must leave now. More drones will come. They always come. They sense movement near me. I'm not leaving you, Alex said firmly. I can help you. Lyrathis let out a long, weak breath. These chains, they are made from ancient crystal forged with starfire. They were crafted by the old hunters to restrain my kind. No human tool can break them. Alex raised his arm scanner, examining the restraints closely. The crystal glowed with a steady pulse, reacting to his presence. He touched one gently. The surface was cold, smooth, and filled with shifting patterns of light. Energy readings spiked across his display. "You're right," he said quietly. "This isn't something humans built. But that doesn't mean we can't figure something out." Lyrathis watched him closely. "Why help me? You have nothing to gain. I am only one being among many. I am broken. I am forgotten." Alex shook his head. "No one deserves to be forgotten at the bottom of the ocean. And you're not broken. You're still fighting. I can see it." Her eyes softened again. A faint glow spread along her scales, like moonlight through deep water. Alex took a slow breath. "Tell me more about them, the ancients who did this to you. Maybe that will help me understand these chains." Lyrathis hesitated. Her voice was quiet when she spoke. "They came from beyond the stars, long before your people walked the land. They traveled across worlds, hunting creatures like me. They feared us, and so they trapped us, bound us, used us. I escaped them once, but they caught me again." Alex listened, his jaw tightening. "How many of your kind are left?" Her wings trembled. "I do not know. I was separated from all others. Perhaps some still fly between planets. Perhaps none do. I have been alone for so long that even hope felt like a dream." Alex lowered his voice. "You're not alone anymore, Lyrathis. I'm here, and I'm going to come back. I'll find a way to free you." Her eyes widened a little. "You would return?" "Yes." He nodded with certainty. "I promise." For the first time, Lyrathis gave a faint, fragile smile. It was a small expression, but on her enormous face, it was full of meaning. Alex checked his suit's power levels. He was running low. He needed to return to the surface before he got stranded. "I have to go now," he said. "But I'll come back. Soon." Lyrathis closed her eyes slowly. "I will wait, human Alex." Alex took one last look at her, the chained dragon deep beneath the ocean, and then turned toward the cavern entrance. As he rose through the darkness, he knew one thing with absolute certainty. He was coming back, no matter what it cost. The journey back to the surface felt longer than usual. Alex kept replaying the scene in his mind. The chained dragon, the sorrow in her voice, the ancient drones that attacked without mercy. The ocean grew lighter as he rose, but his thoughts stayed heavy. When he broke through the surface, the research vessel pulled him in quickly. The crew hurried around him, checking his suit, scanning for damage, and asking rapid questions. Alex barely heard them. Nora pushed through the crowd, worry all over her face. "Alex, what happened down there? Your vitals were spiking. The relay drone caught strange readings before we lost connection. Are you hurt?" Alex stepped out of the suit slowly. He was exhausted, but not injured. "I'm fine," he said quietly. "But you need to see the data. All of it." Nora studied his expression and nodded. "Come inside." Inside the main lab, Alex transferred the suit recordings to the ship's computer. Holographic displays lit up around them, showing maps, energy waves, and distorted images from the cavern. The footage was dark and blurry, but parts of Lyrathis's glowing scales could be seen. One frame showed her chained form clearly enough to make Nora gasp. That's a living creature," she whispered. Alex nodded. "Her name is Lyrathis. She's intelligent. She spoke to me. She's been trapped there for a very long time." Nora stared at the recording, struggling to take it in. "This is incredible. Alex, this is first contact. And not with something small or fragile. This is a starborn species. Do you understand what this means?" "I understand she's suffering," Alex replied. "Those chains are ancient tech. The drones attacked me when I got too close. She's been alone for who knows how long. We have to help her." Nora paced across the lab, thinking fast. "Breaking alien restraints? We don't have anything strong enough. We don't even know how they work. They could be powered by something we can't detect. They could explode if we tamper with them. Alex nodded. I know. But I'm not going to leave her there. Nora stopped pacing and looked at him. Her voice softened. Alex, you care about her already, don't you? He paused. I care that she's alive, that she's hurting, and that she's alone in the dark. Anyone would care. Nora smiled faintly. Not anyone, but you would. She turned back to the screens. Let's figure this out. For the next several hours, they studied every reading Alex brought back. Energy pulses, crystal formations, ancient markings. They compared everything to known alien records but found nothing close. Finally, Nora stopped scrolling through the data and tapped a glowing waveform. Look at this pattern. The chains react to movement, right? They tighten when she shifts. That means they're listening. Or rather, they're responding to vibration frequencies. Alex leaned in. So if we can match that frequency, we might be able to disrupt it, Nora finished. Not with force, with resonance. We could try building harmonic disruptors. Small ones. They might weaken the restraints enough for her to move. Alex felt a spark of hope. Can we build them with what we have on the ship? Nora nodded slowly. It'll take time, but yes. Alex exhaled with relief. Nora looked at him again, more serious this time. Alex, before we continue, I need to ask something. This creature Lyrathis, did she try to hurt you? Show any aggression? Anything that suggests she's dangerous? Alex shook his head. No. She was terrified, exhausted. She couldn't defend herself even if she wanted to. And when the drones attacked, she worried about me. She warned me. Nora folded her arms, thinking. Then we help her. Alex felt gratitude warm inside him. Thank you. Don't thank me yet, Nora said. This could be the most dangerous thing we've ever done. But if she's a victim of something ancient and powerful, then maybe helping her is the right thing, not just scientifically but morally. Alex nodded. I agree. For the next 2 days, the crew worked nonstop. Nora led the technical adjustments while Alex tested the equipment. They built 3 small harmonic disruptors, each designed to emit a carefully tuned frequency. The disruptors were fragile, experimental, and untested, but they were the best chance they had. When everything was ready, Alex suited up again. Nora stood at the platform, checking his gear for a final time. Be careful down there. This time the drones might activate sooner. I'll be ready, Alex said. Nora touched his arm lightly. And Alex, if the disruptors work, and she's freed, be prepared for anything. She's still an alien being. We don't know how she'll react. Alex nodded. I trust her. Nora sighed softly but didn't argue. Alex descended into the water once more. The ocean swallowed him quickly, and soon the darkness wrapped around him again. As he entered the cavern, he saw her immediately. Lyrathis's silver-blue eyes opened the moment his lights touched her. Warmth spread through their glow. You came back, she said softly. Alex floated closer. I made a promise. Her expression was gentle, hopeful. Did you find a way? Alex lifted the small devices. We have something to try. It might weaken the chains. Maybe even break them. Lyrathis looked at the devices with awe and fear mixed together. I do not know if hope is wise, she whispered. But I feel it anyway. Alex smiled. Then let's see what hope can do. As Alex floated closer to Lyrathis, he placed the 3 small harmonic disruptors near the crystal restraints. The devices were fragile and simple in design, nothing compared to the ancient technology holding her. But they hummed softly with power, each one tuned carefully to match the strange pulse of the chains. Lyrathis watched him with quiet hope and fear woven together. I do not want you harmed, she said gently. The Watchers respond to any change in my bonds. They may come again. Alex nodded. I know, but we have to try. He secured the first device to the nearest part of the crystal, locking it in place with a magnetic latch. The crystal reacted instantly, glowing brighter as if sensing the disruption. A low hum filled the cavern. Lyrathis flinched as the chain tightened briefly. It feels strange. Hold on, Alex said softly. Nothing's activated yet. He moved to place the second device. As he worked, he kept glancing around the cavern. The darkness felt deeper today, heavier. Something seemed to lurk at the edge of his light. Nora's voice crackled faintly through his calm, distorted by the depth. Alex, readings, spikes, movement, be careful. He tapped his comm but couldn't tell if the message went through. The signal was too weak. He set the second disruptor in place, attaching it to a glowing crystal node. The pulse of the chain flickered for a moment. Lyrathis breathed sharply. They notice. The chains feel disturbed. They always notice. Alex moved quickly to the third device. He attached it to the largest restraint, the one around her chest. The instant it locked in place, the chains responded violently. Sharp pulses of energy raced through them, lighting the entire cavern in a cold blue flash. Lyrathis cried out in pain. Lyrathis! Alex shouted, reaching toward her. Stay still. I'm activating them now. He hit the control panel on his wrist. All three disruptors began to hum at once, vibrating with a deep frequency that traveled through the water. The crystal chains flickered, pulsing in uneven patterns. Lyrathis winced but forced herself to stay still. The chains creaked and shuddered as if resisting the new frequency. Then Alex's scanner beeped sharply. Something large was moving outside the cavern. He turned his lights toward the entrance. Shadows shifted. Metal glinted. Not 3 drones. Not 5. This time more than a dozen. Ancient watchers swarmed into the cavern's sleek, sharp machines with glowing red sensors. They darted through the water like predators sensing blood. Lyrathis's voice trembled. They come. They come because they feel the chains weakening. This always happens. Alex positioned himself between her and the drones. I won't let them near you. The drones spread out, circling him. The cavern filled with their rising hums. One drone shot forward. Alex dodged, firing a pulse blast. The drone cracked apart, its pieces drifting downward. Another lunged from the left. Alex blocked it with his reinforced arm, then punched it with a kinetic burst from his suit. The drone spun out, slamming into a stone pillar. But there were too many. 3 drones attacked together. Alex tried to evade, but one clipped his leg, spinning him off balance. Another slammed into his backplate, triggering several alarms. The water filled with sparks as a third one scraped along his helmet, cracking the outer visor layer. Lyrathis let out a cry that shook the cavern. Stop! Leave him! Her body strained against the chains. The restraints glowed brighter, resisting her movement. The disruptors kept humming, weakening the restraints inch by inch. Cracks began to form in the crystal. Alex fought harder, swinging, blasting, dodging. But the swarm kept coming. A drone fired an energy bolt that struck him directly in the chest. Alex gasped as the suit's systems flickered. Pain shot through his ribs. Alex! Lyrathis called out. He forced himself upright, though the suit's motors struggled. I'm okay. He wasn't okay. His oxygen levels were dropping. Power was dipping. Structural warnings flashed across his vision. The drones formed another attack line. But before they could strike, the cavern shook. The largest crystal restraint cracked. A shockwave of energy rippled outward, knocking several drones back. Alex was thrown violently against the cavern wall, his suit scraping rock. Lyrathis's voice echoed through the water, filled with fierce energy. Enough! A burst of bright blue light shot from her scales, pulsing in waves. The drones reacted, retreating briefly as their systems scrambled. Alex blinked through the bright light. Lyrathis, what was that? My energy, my life force. The chains weaken, but not enough, she said weakly. Alex forced himself to stand through the suit's pain systems. I can't stop now. We're close. He moved to adjust one of the disruptors, but his arm shook. The suit's servos struggled. A drone lunged at him from behind. Lyrathis roared. A psychic shockwave pulsed outward. The drone exploded into fragments. Alex breathed hard. Thank you. She lowered her head slightly. We help each other. But the swarm was regrouping, and Alex wasn't sure how much longer he or Lyrathis could hold out. The chains were cracking. The drones were closing in. The cavern trembled as ancient power stirred. Alex knew one thing clearly. This fight was far from over. Alex stood still as the cavern lights glowed gently around him. The air felt heavier here, even inside his suit. The dragon watched him with calm eyes. Her long body stretched across the stone floor. She looked tired but no longer afraid. For the first time since he had found her, there was no crying in her voice. He stepped closer, keeping his movements slow. He did not want to cause her any fear. Her head lowered as he approached, like she understood he meant no harm. "You have been trapped for a long time," Alex said, though he knew she could not understand his words. Even so, speaking made the silence feel less heavy. A soft sound rose from her throat. Not a cry this time, but something gentle, warm. The echoes inside the cavern softened in response. Alex looked at the strange metal anchors attached to her limbs and wings. The chains gave off a faint glow, pulsing with the same unnatural energy he had seen earlier in the trench. They were strong, far stronger than any material humans used. And they were old, covered in strange marks and patterns. He touched one carefully. The surface vibrated like a quiet heartbeat. "These aren't human," he whispered. He raised his scanner and watched the readings shift. The symbols on the metal reacted to the device, flickering with blue sparks. "Ancient tech," he murmured. "Alien tech?" He shook his head. None of it made sense. If these chains were alien, then who had put them here? And why? The dragon shifted slightly and let out a soft breath. Her eyes focused on him again, and he felt a wave of emotion wash over him. Fear, loneliness, hope. It hit him so suddenly that he almost stepped back. "You feel," Alex whispered. It was not just an animal reacting to pain. She understood. She felt deeply. She had been waiting, suffering, hoping someone would find her. Alex lowered his scanner. "I won't leave you. Not like this." She closed her eyes slowly, like she understood. He looked again at the chains. There had to be a way to remove them. He knelt beside the nearest anchor, studying the glowing patterns. The marks were arranged in a repeating pattern, almost like a language. "If I can break the energy flow, the lock might release," he said quietly. He took out a small tool from his suit. Could cut through most materials with high heat, but he did not know if it would work here. Still, he had to try. As he aimed the tool, the dragon tensed. Her tail curled slightly, and her wings tightened. Alex lowered the tool again. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm not hurting you. I'm trying to help." After a few moments, she relaxed again. Alex powered on the tool. A thin beam of heat touched the metal surface. It hissed, shuddered, and flickered with sparks. The symbols glowed brighter, resisting the cut. "Come on," Alex muttered, pressing closer. Suddenly, the chain pulsed with a wave of energy. The beam shut off, and his visor flashed a warning. Energy feedback detected. Danger to suit integrity. Alex cursed under his breath. He jumped back as a shockwave rippled through the water. The dragon cried out, a loud, startled sound that echoed sharply across the cavern. "I'm okay," Alex said quickly. "I'm okay. That was my fault." The chain defended itself. He checked his suit. Nothing was damaged, but the tool was useless against the chain's energy field. "Who made these?" he whispered. "Why trap a creature like you out here in the dark?" The dragon lowered her head beside him. She looked at him with soft, glowing eyes. He could feel her trust growing slowly but surely. He put a hand on her scaled cheek. The surface was warm and smooth. She let out a gentle hum, a sound that vibrated through the cavern walls. Alex smiled, even as worry grew in him. "I'll find a way to set you free." He turned back toward the entrance of the cavern. His lights flickered slightly. Something about the darkness outside felt different now, heavier, thicker. He raised his scanner again. Unknown movement detected. Alex narrowed his eyes. He was not alone down here, and not everything in this trench wanted the dragon freed. Alex stood quietly at the edge of the cavern as the low hum of the crystal chains echoed around him. The glowing marks along the restraints pulsed in slow, steady waves. It felt almost like the cavern itself was breathing. Lyrathis watched him with calm, tired eyes. Her scales reflected the faint blue light, and her long wings lay folded against the ground. She looked stronger than before, but still weakened by the energy draining through the chains. Alex checked his suit systems. The damage he had taken earlier had not fully repaired. One of the motors in his arm buzzed weakly every few seconds. Oxygen was still stable, but power was slowly dropping. "We don't have much time," he said quietly. Lyrathis tilted her head, sensing the tension in his voice. Alex walked closer to the nearest restraint. Cracks still ran along the crystal, glowing faintly. The disruptors he had placed earlier were holding, but barely. Their readings flickered like low batteries. "Just a little more," he muttered. "If I can weaken the main anchor, maybe the rest will fall." Lyrathis shifted uneasily. Her tail brushed the stone floor, sending ripples through the water. "I know," Alex said, "but we're close. I can feel it." He lifted his wrist scanner, aiming it at the symbols etched into the chains. This time he was more careful. He let the scanner read the energy waves instead of trying to break them. The symbols glowed brighter when the scan reached them. "These patterns, they respond to thought," Alex said softly. "Not just energy. They shift when you move. They shift when you're scared. They shift when you hope." Lyrathis blinked slowly, like she understood at least part of what he said. He stepped closer to the largest restraint. He placed his hand lightly on it. The surface warmed under his touch. "They're connected to you," Alex whispered. "Your mind, your emotions. These chains weren't meant to just trap you physically. They were meant to crush you from the inside." Lyrathis closed her eyes, and Alex felt a faint wave of sadness pass between them. "I'm sorry," he said. "No one deserves this." He stepped back, letting the information settle. He needed to think. But before he could form a plan, his scanner flickered with a sharp warning. "Disturbance detected." The water beyond the cavern entrance shifted. Alex turned sharply. "Nora? Can you hear me?" Only garbled static answered. He felt the pressure in the cavern rise slightly, a sign something large was moving closer. Lyrathis tensed. Her wings twitched. A deep rumble formed in her throat. "Easy," Alex said softly. "Stay calm. Whatever is coming, we'll face it." But the shadows at the entrance were growing darker. Drifting shapes moved through the narrow tunnel, smooth, metallic shapes. At first Alex thought they were more drones. But they were different, bigger, sharper, older. The machines slid into the cavern with slow, deliberate motion. They were not fast like the Watchers from before. These moved with heavy weight, as though they had been asleep for centuries and were only now waking. 3 of them drifted inside, then 4, then 5. Alex stepped back instinctively. "Those aren't the same units. These look like Guardians. Bigger class. More armored. Maybe ancient security constructs." Lyrathis growled softly, pressing herself lower to the ground. The machines spread out, forming a half-circle around the cavern. Their red sensors flickered to life, lighting the dark water with cold beams. They scanned the area. They scanned him. They scanned her. Alex felt his heart beat hard inside his chest. They're responding to the chain weakening. The system knows she's almost free. These aren't drones. They're here to stop it at any cost. One of the Guardians let out a low metallic tone. Its sensor lights brightened. Alex raised his hands slowly. "Listen, I don't want to fight. I'm not here to damage the structure. I'm here to help her. She's suffering. She needs to be freed." The machines did not respond. Instead, 2 Guardians moved forward. Their arms shifted, forming sharp energy blades. Lyrathis let out a deep, thunderous sound that shook loose dust from the cavern ceiling. "No," Alex said quickly. "Don't fight yet. We don't know what they can do." But the Guardians did not wait. One charged. Alex dove aside, barely avoiding the blade. The energy burned the water behind him, leaving a glowing trail. He fired a quick pulse shot. It struck the Guardian's armor and barely scratched it. "Great," he muttered. "They're tougher." The second Guardian lunged toward Lyrathis. She flinched back, but the chains pulled her tight, forcing her still. "Hey, over here," Alex shouted. He slammed into the Guardian's side with his shoulder. The impact knocked it off its path, but Alex felt pain shoot through his ribs. "I can't do this forever," he groaned. Lyrathis roared again, louder this time. The chains around her cracked a little more. The Guardians turned toward her. Their sensors brightened. They were preparing something. "No, no, no," Alex whispered. "They're charging a focused attack. If they fire on her now, those chains might collapse too fast. The energy release could kill her." He looked around desperately. The disruptors, they were still in place. He rushed toward the closest one. "I need to increase the output," he said, panting. "If I push it just enough, maybe the chains will break cleanly before the Guardians fire." He grabbed the device. His suit warned him immediately. Overload risk. Potential detonation. "Yeah," Alex muttered. "I figured." He turned to look at Lyrathis. She stared at him with wide, frightened eyes. "Trust me," he said quietly. She let out a soft sound, one filled with fear and hope. Alex pressed the override. The disruptor began to scream with rising energy. The Guardians raised their weapons. The chains shuddered. The cavern lights flickered. And Alex knew everything was about to break. The cavern shook violently as the disruptors reached their peak output. A bright wave of energy pulsed outward, and the chains around Lyrathis glowed intensely. Then, with a sound like tearing metal and a low, resonant cry, the crystal restraints shattered. Pieces drifted upward in the water, catching light as they floated away. Lyrathis lifted her head slowly. Her wings spread, stretching wide for the first time in what felt like centuries. The light from her scales shimmered like a living aurora, bright enough to push back the darkness of the deep. Alex drifted toward her, exhausted but alive. "You're free," he said softly. Her eyes met his. She moved carefully at first, testing her strength. Then, with a sudden surge, she pushed off the cavern floor and rose, carrying Alex with her through the tunnels. The remaining Guardians attempted to react, but the sudden burst of energy had disabled many of them. The others retreated into the shadows, wary of her power. As they ascended toward the surface, Alex could feel the water pressure decrease and the light from above grow stronger. When they finally broke through, the sun was high, casting warm rays onto the open ocean. Nora's vessel waited, engines idling. The crew gawked as the massive dragon emerged, her scales shimmering in the sunlight, her wings cutting through the water with grace. She circled the ship, sending waves of energy that made the smaller boats rock gently. Alex's heart raced. He knew this moment would be remembered forever, not just for humans, but for anyone who learned of her existence. Lyrathis lowered herself toward the surface, letting Alex slip safely onto the deck. She hovered nearby, wings still folded, eyes watching. Nora ran forward. "Alex, are you okay?" Alex nodded, still catching his breath. "I'm fine. We did it. She's free." Lyrathis let out a soft, melodic sound, almost like a song. The humans on deck fell silent, mesmerized. Alex turned to her. "What now?" Her gaze swept over the ocean, then back to him. "I will warn your kind. The hunters who trapped me are not finished. They will return. Your world must be prepared." Alex swallowed. "I understand. We will listen, and we will work with you." Lyrathis inclined her head slowly, a gesture of trust and acknowledgement. From that moment, a bond was formed between human and dragon. A new alliance began, one built on trust, courage, and the understanding that cooperation between species could face even the greatest cosmic threats. The humans watched as Lyrathis rose high into the sky, wings slicing through the clouds, shimmering scales reflecting the sunlight. She soared, free at last. Alex looked at Nora, then back at the horizon. We have a lot to prepare for, he said quietly. Nora nodded. And a lot to learn. But for the first time, we're not alone in facing it. As the sun set over the ocean, the weeping dragon was no longer weeping. The deep held silence, but in that silence lay hope. And the story of their courage, trust, and bond had only just begun.